Turning TikTok trends into bankruptcy leads. How do you do it? Well, we're doing it right now, and I got great people on the line to show us exactly how it gets done. Adrian Hines, ladylike lawyer, and Kristen Paras, a debtor, a homesteader, a mom who just went through bankruptcy a short while ago and has generated many of you bankruptcy leads and bankruptcy appointments. Thank you guys for joining. Adrian, you have 121,000 followers, right? You've been doing this from the beginning, right? I mean, you're basically a bankruptcy attorney that said, hey, I want to start generating business online.
Well, I was a bankruptcy attorney who was going through COVID. I had teenage twins at the time, high school seniors who were hanging out on social media and TikTok. And honestly, I was incredibly bored and felt very creative. And I actually went to TikTok just to start talking about my own life because I'm one of those kind of people, right?
Mhm.
And it was along the way that I began to realize that oh my gosh, there's so many people out there who need this, who know nothing about it. And all of them were upset. All of them would immediately say no to bankruptcy because of the word bankruptcy. And so I very quickly understood that shame and embarrassment is what's stopping a lot of people who could very much use a bankruptcy. That's what's stopping them from even exploring it. So I really set out to start demystifying the word and the process and just take shame and embarrassment away so we could talk about debt because I think that's really where people start to get information and it really it resonated with people. It just
Oh,
resonated with people.
and,
That's where
and
we're at.
And let me put this into a marketing perspective. Since we started working together and we start tracking the number of leads that come in that we send to you in this in Northeast Ohio, based on your leads alone, where there's no payment whatsoever, in your small Northeastern Ohio, you could file 25, 30 cases a month
If I wanted to, if
if
I
you
had the
wanted to.
capacity to do
Yeah.
that, and if I wanted to, I could. But that is from years of curating trust and
Yeah.
and a relationship with a lot of these people. And what I've been doing, is realizing that it takes time, but like anything else, we need to take advantage of anything that's available to us for marketing.
I mean,
And
so
this is an amazing opportunity.
but this is really important to understand. We're talking that level of lead volume with no advertising.
It's just me and my paralegal. And as an example, we just have to limit. It's 10 new
Yeah.
clients a week. That's
Yeah,
it. I have to limit it.
yeah, but you don't even want to build the systems in place to do more, which is fine. But
Yeah.
my point is big volume, right?
Big volume.
And
And I don't want to build the systems because I want to make money for everybody else. I want to
yeah,
bring the leads in and help everybody else get the leads. I mean, there's enough to go around here.
yeah, it's a win.
It's a
So
win for everybody.
so Kristen, you are a debtor
Yep.
and you just filed bankruptcy.
Yep.
Adrian said, "Hey, you can tell your story online."
Yep.
And you just start telling your story online, right?
Well, it's funny. Adrian was actually my attorney, and I found her on TikTok. So we built up kind of a rapport back and forth there, and she had to, drag me across the finish line, as we've said a million times. But after we filed, I thought, the only person I heard talking about bankruptcy was an attorney. I didn't hear your average Joe saying anything. Every once in a while there'd be one or two here or there. And I thought, well, let's just see what happens. I wanted to hear when we were in the process, I would have loved to have heard somebody else's story. Like, this is what happened, just the ins and outs real quick. And I made a video on my main account, and it didn't, I mean, I had some traction, not much. And I had a backup account, and I was talking to Adrian, and I was like, I don't know what to do with this because I wanted to build something. I didn't know what I was building. And she said, why don't you talk about your bankruptcy? Are you comfortable? And I talked to my husband, and he's like, I don't care what you say. So I did a video, and it took off. And I was like, oh, people do want to hear about this.
Yeah.
So I continued down that path. And at some point, Adrian she said it multiple times that people would stop filing or anything before Christmas, around the holidays. And she said, but right after Christmas, people will start going towards the bankruptcy avenue again.
Yeah.
And so I wanted to prove her wrong because I'm stubborn. And I made a video saying my husband and I filed bankruptcy in May of 2024. This was the day after or 2 days after Christmas.
Yeah.
I said, my husband and I filed bankruptcy in May of 2024. And this is what has happened since.
My husband and I filed Chapter 7 bankruptcy May 21st of 2024 this year. And here are some things that have happened since and with our bankruptcy that I thought I would share. First and foremost, our credit scores, which were trash, went from below 500 to 620 almost immediately after our 341 hearing.
And that video, I believe, has almost 4 million views on it now. There has been a lot of me interacting. Engagement is a huge thing with
Right.
TikTok videos. But
You can see
also,
6,300 comments.
and I probably
6,300
am,
comments.
I'm probably 2,000 of them.
And here
But
you are. I mean, here you are. You got Cole's, you're commenting about that. You got 56 replies. I filed bankruptcy immediately, took out a car. You're in it, right?
right.
53 other comments about this. I mean, we're
Mhm.
talking like there's a lot of engagement here.
Yes,
Now, you do
a
this in
lot.
particularly. You do this personally.
Oh,
This
yeah.
is not our team helping you on this.
No, this is only me.
Yeah.
This is when I remember to switch back to this account. And that's the other thing is I still don't understand how it's worked on this account and not my account with almost 55,000 followers. When I started making bankruptcy content, this account that you're looking at only had 2,600 followers. Since that video specifically, I've gained like 10,000 followers. So
So,
in like just
yeah.
over a month.
And the thing is there's always talk, and I've asked myself this question. How do you understand what goes viral?
You don't.
Oh, well, you just, yeah. I mean, it's how, it's okay. We can game it. Okay, we got to do this, and we use this hashtag and this, and those are their best practices clearly. But
Well, with
th- you know,
TikTok, I did an experiment, and Adrian actually talked to me about this last night. The first video I made that went anywhere talking about bankruptcy, I said, my husband and I failed Chapter 7 bankruptcy, and this is what I wish we would have known before we
right,
did it.
right.
That one was the first one. This one that got 4 million views is my husband and I filed bankruptcy, blah, 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 blah. That's got 4 million views.
Hmm.
The video I made, like, what was it, two days ago or so?
Hmm.
I said, my husband and I filed bankruptcy, blah, 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 blah. It's got like 200 some thousand views on it now. Just 20 minutes ago, I made a video saying, if my husband and I had not filed bankruptcy,
Hmm.
it catches people
Got it.
that you have to have that hook. So that's the big thing, specifically TikTok
Okay, great.
is the hook.
That's great. So you heard it. The hook is a key component to that right out of the gate type of thing, right? Right. That hook, if I would have filed bankruptcy, what I wish I would have filed bankruptcy, I bought a car after bankruptcy, whatever.
That really ticks people off.
Yeah.
That one really makes them mad.
For all you bankruptcy attorneys in our network, I just want to point something out. Since December 29th through March, Kristen's booked our network 562 appointments. I mean, that's extraordinary. We're talking a non-attorney, a debtor who's a homesteader, and a mom in like rural Ohio. It's extraordinary. Kristen, what you're doing is put yourself out there, right?
Yeah.
And by the way, you attorneys watching, if you have a client who would like to do this, connect me to them because this is obviously a proven path. And it didn't happen overnight. You had to put in many videos to get this
Mhm.
going over the series of a couple months. Go
I
ahead.
wish the only thing I really wish I would have done because I didn't understand what this all was,
Uh-huh.
right? I didn't understand the network. I didn't understand what I was trying to get people to do. And those other videos, I did have links in my link tree. I did have all of that stuff, but I never said, hey, click the link and you can find a local to you attorney.
Yeah.
And I give them a little bit of a spiel. But I don't go too much into it because people think you're selling them something. And if they think you're selling them something, they don't want anything to do with it. So even if it's just a, hey, do this and you can do that, they don't want it. So I wish I would have figured this out a little sooner. I wish I would have understood it a little bit more, but I'm just very grateful that I
So,
can do
but
this
so
because
what's the difference between how are you doing it now? How are you telling people about the link tree?
so when I first started, when I joined you guys,
Right, right,
and I was almost too afraid to say, "Hey, click the link in my
right.
link tree," because I didn't want to sound salesy, and
Hmm.
I hadn't figured that out. And all I did in that video that has almost 4 million views was I was like, "There's a link in my link tree. My attorney is in that network,
Yeah, right, right. That's
and they've built this up with all these trustworthy attorneys that offer free consultations. Just all you have to do is book a call and maybe this is the right answer for you." I never say go file bankruptcy,
right,
because if I say that, people are like, "Oh, nope, nope, now
right,
you're
right.
preaching you have to file bankruptcy." It almost has to be a a nudge, even from
Yeah,
me,
right.
from a bankruptcy attorney. When Adrian was like, "Hey, you could do this and life would be better." And
Yeah.
I was like, "I could, but
So what
I
what
still
you're
don't
saying
believe you."
is when you give the information, it's like, hey, if you want information, here it is. It's more
Yep.
of like a hey, by the way, as
Right.
opposed
Yeah.
to hey, you need a file.
It's never at the beginning of my videos. It's always towards the end after I've gotten my point across.
Hmm.
And then I'm like, "Yeah, there's a link right there. You could be sitting in my position right now where
Perfect.
I'm not stressed out about debt and, you know, but hey, do whatever you want to do."
Well,
But
and
again, it's not an attorney's point of view. It is your neighborhood
yeah.
lady giving you a dozen eggs saying, "Hey, guess what? We filed bankruptcy. You know what? We don't have any debt anymore." Like,
I get it.
I don't
No,
know.
and the thing is, Adrian and I had this conversation many times. We were like, does it work? Like the consumer coming from the consumer without the credibility of the attorney. And in the beginning, it wasn't, but clearly we've proven that wrong. It definitely works.
I
And if,
think part of
yeah,
that,
yeah,
part of that was that I wasn't giving that call to action
hmm
to make that, because I was afraid to do it. And
hmm
now I'm like, whatever, I don't care.
right.
They'll either do it or they won't. And obviously they're doing it.
And if you have, so bankruptcy attorneys out there, if you have a debtor like Kristen, who would be willing to go out there and tell the story, refer them to us and we'll pay you on the referral because that's like we want to spread the wealth out. I mean, it's a
Mhm.
win for everybody when we work together. So, Kristen, thanks for your insight. I'm going to jump back to Adrian now. This has been very, very helpful. So, when you're creating videos, I want to go into the types of videos you have. Here's all your hundreds of videos you have, and which is one of the things I want to point out. When debtors watch TikTok videos, they binge watch and they come to you well prepared. This video right here is a comment. Someone posted this comment. I was using my Kohl's card to buy Visa gift cards and buy gas and groceries. And you just saw it and you made a video about it.
Yeah, I just saw it and I made a video about it as I was walking from my car into the grocery store. And I think the clicking of the heels, the fact that I waited just a second so people could see what that was saying, and the fact that what it says is very powerful and made a lot of people stop. Half the people stopped because they didn't believe you could even do this. And half the
Mm.
people stopped because they thought it was a brilliant idea and they'd never thought of it and they were that desperate too. So
So,
that video, I've reposted that video many times.
yeah.
I reposted it. I've reposted it once and it got almost as many views the second
I
time I
mean,
reposted it.
751,000 views on an 8 second
Yeah.
video. And TikTok loops it, right? You just post it one
Yeah.
time, they
Yeah.
loop it.
They loop it. Yep.
And you
Absolutely.
have 54 comments where you're engaging people all the
Yeah.
time.
And I want to reiterate Kristen's point, and I want the lawyers in the network to hear this because, you know, I have spent a lot of time, and I know Kristen is spending a lot of time curating our following. So we have I have 121,000 followers, but I'm very predictable. They see me on Tuesdays at 12:30. I just went live every Tuesday. They see me Thursday mornings. I go live. My content, I put two things out a day consistently on the weekdays, and I put at least one or two things out on the weekends. I sprinkle in a little bit of my personal life just so people know that I'm a real person. And I try to make my videos that I'm going to put on TikTok in the video in the TikTok app because they're more likely to be pushed out by TikTok. So these are some of the things that I've just kind of picked up along the way to help me understand this process. But it is, I spend hours a day responding to comments, private messages, and comments that are left on these videos. And it's those comments where I get the ideas for the next videos. I'm very well
Engaging.
known for using people's comments or questions to generate another video so we can keep the conversation going. And that's kind of something that
Thank you for that.
I do a lot. Yeah.
Well, it works. I want to jump
Yeah.
over here. So this, you called this a stitch, right?
Yes. So a
So this,
stitch, when you see somebody else's video,
you take 5 seconds of a video, play it,
mhm,
and then comment on it.
yeah, and TikTok has this option. You can do one of two things with somebody else's video. You can either you can pop it up and mirror it, and you can just sit there while it plays. And a lot
Okay.
of people use that to try to amplify someone's whole video. Or if you can find a 5 second clip that really, really grabs, you got to find the best 5 second clip in their video. Now you can pick any 5 seconds. So you can start at the very beginning, or you can find it in the middle. And a lot of times I find my 5 second clip in the middle of their video. As I'm watching it, I find the thing that I think is going to hook somebody.
Got
But
it.
that's called yeah, those are called stitches.
Got it.
And a duet is when you play up somebody else's video, not just for 5 seconds, but the whole thing.
Yeah, this is sort
I
of
don't,
like this. Like I just found you one. This is where you're
yeah,
doing it. You're just
this is a duet. This is a funny one. This was
so you're
just
just
on the
trying to bring
weekend.
levity here, right?
Yeah,
You're like,
I'm just bringing levity and laughing, and it really this was a funny video to me, and
right.
so I was going to share it with everybody. But that's a duet.
Got it.
That got plenty of views too. People like
So
people like to know that I'm a real person. I'm not just a robot on talking about bankruptcy all the time.
so what trends are you seeing to close this thing up, this segment up before we go to YouTube? Because YouTube and TikTok are totally different,
Yeah,
right?
they are. Yeah, they
And
are.
total two different beasts, but they're powerful. What final trends are you noticing in
Um,
TikTok that you're like, hey, I wish I knew this. This is what I'd say. One thing for sure, there's no doubt, you got to get the videos out. And there's a lot of ways to create content, right?
there are a lot of ways to create content, and the things that I wish I hadn't worried so much about jumping in with both feet. I
Mm.
wish I had just put the embarrassment on the side. I was worried about what trustees would think. I was worried about what judges would think. I was worried about what my partners and other lawyers and my clients would think. I kind of felt like what I was doing might be a little foolish, but I wish I'd done it a little sooner than I did. Like everything else, like bankruptcy. Most people wish they'd done it sooner. I wish I'd gotten into the social media space sooner, and staying consistent. And honestly, I love opening up TikTok. I love responding to people's comments. I do it while sitting at the beach with my husband. I do it while sitting at lunch. I genuinely enjoy what I do because I genuinely believe in it. And that way, that's really honestly what keeps it fun and exciting. I'm a creative person. You can
Yeah.
I can do fun things with graphics. I can do things with outside sources. I can do, really neat things. But at the end of the day, my followers want the information. My videos that go viral tend to be videos that are talking about substantive stuff that they just didn't understand, right? The cars and getting credit afterwards and talking about how your life isn't ruined. And I talk to them as if they're all real people that I'm sitting in front of. I generally have the face of a client in front of me in my mind when I'm doing a video, which makes it a little bit easier to be authentic. But authenticity, I think, is the most important thing, and a true commitment to following through with this. And you got to like it because it's
Mm.
work.
Well, and Adrian, you're literally right now in Jamaica,
I am.
living on the beach, running your practice from afar. I mean, this is one of the advantages, right?
Well, this is only 5 days into a 6 week
Uh-huh.
attempt here, but yes, so far it's working.
Okay.
And this is allowing me, I only practice bankruptcy law half the time now, which is why I really can't take more than 10 new clients a week, is
Yeah.
because I spend so much time doing this, but I love it, and I will keep doing it. And I know that the followers that are coming through are much better prepared than your average Google follower.
Yeah.
And I know this because I can tell the difference with my own. I never know if they came to me through TikTok or referral, and I can even tell the ones that come to me through social media. So
Well,
just a much smarter group of people.
10 new clients a week, zero advertising, plus the revenue from all the other leads we're generating for other people. Adrienne, thank you. Kristen, thanks for joining.
Thank you guys very much.